This was a cool drawing. Oh, perfect. Oh, that's so cool. There's a helicopter. Let's get the helicopter, come on. There's 2 helicopters. People are doing tours. This is gonna be like the last video. There's the other one. You can't see them too well at night, but you can hear them. Make no mistake, that is a helicopter. See, I told you it was a helicopter. Now you can really see it. This is probably going to be the last video, so I really wanted to make it something good. And I'm so fortunate to have found this parking lot here with nobody in it. Lucky enough to have 2 helicopters flying over me at the same time. Well, now it's just one, but look at this guy. He's doing circles. This is definitely a sightseeing flight, almost certainly. Or news. It's kind of cold, but it's only going to get colder. Here, look at this thing. I've always liked this thing. Look, I could copy your video formats if you want, just to zoom in on random things, talk about random things. Here, let's look at the helicopter again. We can get it all in frame. See, there's the helicopter, there's the covered wagon thing. Here's the parking lot with, well, previously no one in it. Now someone's driving through. Oh, look, he's doing another circle. He's flying right at us. Yeah, people love to see the plaza lights and stuff. I don't know, I really don't have much to say about 2025. It's been good. Oh, you can't, there he is, there he is. Let's zoom out some more. No, I want the nice lens. There we go. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to keep recording all the way till midnight. It's only like 10 o'clock and something. I found a show, and then I was going to go in, and then they tried to get me to do some ATM fee, which I really didn't want to do. And the ATM nearby is like, the light is red, and I don't want to pay the extra few dollars. So I'm just going to go next year. It's like a venue. So they're always open. It's not like I can't go next year. I'm not like in a rush. Like seriously, I'm doing boundaries and stuff, and like, you're not gonna get me on some ATM fee. I'm not that impulsive. Ooh, they're making noise. Like, it's not a big deal. I think I'll live. This is a cool spot. I've always loved this spot right over here. It's very cool. Just architecturally speaking, this little corner of the strip mall, a lot of people don't appreciate it. I didn't appreciate it for a long time, having been here before. Oh, I hear another helicopter, I swear. They're all over the place. Woo! There's a nice 360 view. I'm gonna go back in the car. It's a little bit cold, but I did want to come out and do some like videos like this. But I wanted to look at the art, and I got distracted by the helicopter. So we're gonna look at art stuff again. Whatever. A lot of this might be a little bit redundant or something, but I made some new drawings lately. I wanted to just show this guy. Yeah, you think you're gonna clown me? telling me I gotta go to an ATM, trying to hold on to my ID, give me some look when I'm like, no, I'm gonna go to my bank's ATM so I don't get charged the ATM fee. Like, dude, I'm auto hoaxing my finances. We are not going to do some nonsense ATM fee over something like I can just go to another time when it's less crowded. Like, it was not crowded at like 8 p.m., but it was really crowded when I came back after getting some food. Like, y'all ain't so special. You can't play me like that. Like, I don't even know. I'm just pushing myself. Like, the fact that I attempted to go in and got to the door and ran into the cover charge. Like, I only have $4 in cash. I don't have $10. I don't have that much cash on me right now. So, tough, you know. And all for the better. Like, it's like this conflict where, like, I'm going into venues and doing things by myself because I'm like auto hoaxing the fear or whatever, deprogramming myself from pathological fear and terrorism and stuff. Because, like, why be afraid senselessly? How does that help me or anyone else? It doesn't really. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be like terrorized. I'm not giving in to terrorism. So I already made the choice. I parked my car and I walked into the place. So I won. I overcame the terrorism. If it wasn't for their cover charge that I didn't know about, like, I thought there might be a cover charge, but I didn't think it was necessarily going to be $10. And I would have paid the $10, but they were going to charge me an ATM fee. And on principle, I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go that bad to this thing, like, to go hang out by myself and probably not even have any conversations. Like, I'm more interested in a more chill day, you know, or like, you know, I should just show up earlier and have a greater chance of actually talking to somebody. Because, like, part of it is going to the venue, the other part is actually talking to strangers, which I'm working on in some kind of like pro-social sense, you know, just to like expand my friend circle, because I don't have very many friends, and like things can be stressful sometimes. Like, I'm just not that good, you know, gonna be some like pushover type. I'm just not giving into that stuff anymore. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the people that boss me around any more than it helps me. Like, I heard this great song lyric from Contortion. I was listening to the Contortion's new album Trash Day, which is really awesome. I haven't even been able to listen to the whole thing yet, but it's definitely going to get an honorable mention when I come back around and do my top albums of 2025. And here, we do spoiler alerts here, so spoiler alert, the top album of 2025 is Say Goodbye by Contortion. I did a lot of thinking. There's a top 3 list. Really, I'm going to be doing kind of a top 5, but it's not really fair. So I'm going to say it's a top 3 list of the top 3 albums that I listened to over the year that were released in 2025. Because I listen to other stuff. Like, I listen to Joji a lot, but his stuff is released before then, so it can't really qualify for a 2025 list. But yeah, Contortion's album, Say Goodbye, is freaking amazing. It's really good. It is really a good album. And I was listening to Trash Day, and I'm getting back to what I started talking about, these lyrical things on the album, on Contortion's album, was like, Like, get out of my head, basically. Like, all of you other people, get out of my head. Anybody who's not me, get out of my head. I can't quote it exactly. I want to spend more time listening to Trash Day. I might even put it on. I might put on Contortion's album Trash Day after I'm done making this silly vinyl video for 2025, because it's a good album. As much as it's, anyway, I'll get into the music stuff later when I actually make the music video. The video about music. Oh, I'm a little bit tired. I've been tired a lot lately, but we'll figure that out too. But yeah, all you people, get out of my head. I'm tired of thinking about you. I'm tired of your life filling my brain capacity instead of me focusing on what I need to do. Like, I'm not going to be able to have any kind of life if all I'm thinking about is trying to simulate other people's feelings and trying to predict their next move and whatnot, and trying to do whatever they tell me that they want me to do. It's just not functional, and that's going to be changing. It's not like a resolution. It's just what's like, there's no putting the spaghetti back in the plate or whatever. Like, the spaghetti has spilt, and I'm done with all this. So yeah, sorry, you're the clown. You, sir, are the clown. Move over. Like, seriously, I feel so much better now, having just had this small amount of afternoon time. Like, it's it's so wrong for me to be thinking like, oh, I'm caring more about the emotions of this person than me making money at a job. I'm more like, oh no, they're going to be disappointed that I'm not doing what they want me to do, rather than, oh no, I'm missing an opportunity to make money. And that's just bad thinking. And it's, I'm going to keep catching it and turning it around every time as much as I can until it becomes a new habit, a new way of life. And y'all have become quite acclimated to something that's just not going to be around anymore. It's not just going to be some dramatic overnight change, but it's already started. It's not like this is something that I haven't been actively doing for a while now, and it's just going to continue further to me be doing things like I just did tonight, where like I wasn't invited, I wasn't going with a group of people. I actually turned down an invitation just so I could do this other, and not even with that intention. I turned down the invitation just so I could have some time for myself. And that ultimately resulted in me, considering the possibility of going to a new place that I'd never been before, for the possibility of talking to strangers and making new friends. And I'm going to just keep doing stuff like that more often, as well as pushing myself even further. If we were auto-hoaxing our finances, which we did quite successfully, we auto-hoax the finances pretty hard in the year 2025, but we're going to double down on that. We're going to really, really make it happen. 2026 is going to be even better. I wish I could come up with a better term, but I think it's silly, and it's sufficiently accurate, is to auto-hoax the finances. Because auto-hoaxing as a methodology is great. It's about not accepting trivial, meaningless excuses that are fed to us. It's about avoiding the low-hanging fruit, avoiding the pre-made, pre-masticated news and or pre-masticated ideologies, victim type thinking. It's a totally different way of saying things, saying like, no, the responsibility for my thinking is me. I craft my worldview in all regards, not just my worldview regarding media deconstruction, which is incredibly powerful, and it's a great granular way to like manage stuff like that, but like crafting my worldview in relation to financial management. And if you don't do that, then well, then you're just going to keep believing the same dysfunctional thinking that got you into the bad financial place in the first place, you know, or that kept you in a bad financial place for the entirety of your life, that you felt like you could never get out of. But that's not true. You can always get out of a bad situation. No one's really that much of a victim. Like, you're not dead yet, you know. And I wish I could think of more comments about 2025, or I'll make predictions. I'll make the same prediction I made all the way in like 2019 or whatever. I kind of misquoted it as 2018, but I'll make the same prediction again. And we talked about it, is like, and other people are talking about it more so. And it's like, I predict that possibly a theme of 2026 will be drone crime and the use of autonomous technology to commit crimes. Not necessarily war combat, but especially domestically. And that kind of already was a thing. Like, if you go with certain conspiratorial narratives about CK being drone assassinated, which is completely ridiculous, but it's not ridiculous to the people in the mainstream box. And by that I mean the mainstream, the fabricated, spoon-fed alternative narratives. And so they're gonna say, oh, a drone did it, you know, just like with JFK, you know, that people are spoon-fed this idea of a second shooter instead of considering that JFK wasn't actually assassinated. He faked his death. And so that's the fundamental difference there. And yeah, so this drone stuff is going to be fake. These drone crimes are going to be fake. I've been looking at some fake stuff lately, and it's kind of refreshing to be able to actually put it together. Because at first it doesn't always seem like it. Sometimes it seems like small tier stuff. Like, it doesn't seem like it's on a national level. But that's not the only qualifier for something being, you know, psychological terrorism. Which is not even really the focus of this channel. Like, yes, it is going to be beneficial for anyone to be able to apply media skepticism, but that's not the focus of this channel. This channel is fundamentally a lot of things, but a lot of it is just me being myself, especially now that 2025 is over. Like, I'm going to have other more compartmentalized resources, like 2026 Cake Crash, which is 2026 Cake Crash is an artist. 2025 Cake Crash is the musician. And so 2026 Cake Crash already has been doing some art and will continue to do more and more art. And 2025 Cake Crash will, you know, do whatever 2025 Cake Crash wants, because like, there's no pressure for me to be a musician. Like, one of the commenters, and I'll do the comment video later. I know I said I'd do it in 2025, but like, this holiday stuff really screwed with me, and it does every year, and I should have been able to predict that, but I'll do better next year as far as time management. But I'm going to do the comment video later, probably tomorrow, because I'm just being, you know, I am fixating on quality. I have the comments written down already. I have the piece of paper with me right now, but I'm not going to make the video. I wanted two things. I want to use the SLR camera, and I want to do it in the daytime. And the sun already set. I made a sunset video. I don't even think I'm going to post that one yet. I'm probably going to post this one first though. I did record the final sunset of 2025. And then I drove somewhere on a higher elevation and got to look at the sun again. But anyway, the point is, I recorded the final sunset of 2025 and made a little video of it. It's kind of quick relative to the other sunset videos I made, but I'm not saying this is an absolute, but I don't really want to do much more sunset videos. I love them, but like, I have better ways to use my time. I'd rather just watch the sunset than try to hold my camera up for it. So yeah, and just for future reference, I'll give you another spoiler. I'm not committing any longer to write and read comments. So you guys missed your chance. You know, I'll do one courtesy, is that if anyone leaves any comments in the next like less than 2 hours, if your comment is still left on my channel in the year 2025 Midwestern time, then I'll read it and write it down. I'll add it to the list. If nobody comments, if I come look at my channel tomorrow and there's no new comments, then that's it, you know. If I find a comment to be exceptionally interesting or fun and I feel like I can justify the time, I might read the comment. I might print it out. Maybe if I really, really, really like it, I'll write it by hand and print it out and read it on a video. But I'm no longer promising that. Like, you guys have had a whole year to comment on my channel. And sorry if you just find my channel in the year 2026. Just, you know, this is going to pressure you, and you rightfully, you know, thank you for commenting if you make a crappy comment. Like, but like, I'm not that attached. I don't care if you don't subscribe. I don't care if you dislike, you know, whatever. I have the data backed up. I don't even care if my channel gets nuked. Like, I'd prefer not, you know, it's kind of still a big time investment to get here, but like, if it happens, whatever, not a big deal. But ultimately, like, I value my time. I don't want to spend my time reading particular comments, and so I'm going to try to also reflect that in the quality of my videos. And I think that if I make better quality videos, I'm going to get better quality comments, or at least increase the chances, because I felt like that's been a reflection. You know, doing a year in review is like, I feel like the better quality videos receive better quality comments. And like, you know, I'm not an entomologist or whatever. I'm not a bug expert. I enjoyed making a few bug videos and other random kind of videos. In fact, I'd be more interested in doing like backrooms type stuff, filming liminal spaces, than necessarily filming bugs, unless if it's a really cool, rare bug, you know. But like, I agree that one's probably a termite. Like, say I'm doing a comment response video anyway, but like, and the other one's a jumping spider. Like, thank you guys, you know, for helping with that identification question. Anyway, might not be doing too many of those videos. You know, I want to make more refined, more quality videos, and possibly even doing like things with notes and outlines beforehand. Like, this was just an impulsive video. I just found this empty parking lot and I like it a lot. It feels like a really chill place for me to hang out for the end of 2025, so I'm probably going to be doing that. And I figured I might as well make a video. Like, I might as well call out this artist, this other fellow YouTuber. I think their channel's called Leadhead. And even if I disagree with them, like, I respect their quality production and effort and passion. You know, they have some kind of passion. They have something going on there that, even if I quite strongly disagree with their arguments about AI art, I still appreciate. Like, that's the thing. I can grapple with people generating content that I find I don't disagree. I disagree with the argument or where you're coming from. Like, AI art isn't human. AI art isn't art. Okay, you can say that, you know, and I'm glad that I have the ability to watch your whole video about it and call Joe Rogan a racist. And like, I'm not even going to argue with that. Sure, yeah, I think it's totally reasonable to you know, I don't think it's a stretch to say Joe Rogan is probably some kind of a racist. But I can't say that for sure. And since I'm very strict about things, I'm not going to, make assertions when I don't have evidence. I don't have conclusive evidence to suggest that Joe Rogan's a racist. And I really think that it's inappropriate to bring race into conversations about art mediums. Like, it's just race baiting, and like, I get why people do that. And like, I can see why you're successful, Leadhead, because you're part of a certain political ideology and you're recirculating and spitting that political ideology back out to the people who already agree with you. So you have a huge base to go with, and you're like preaching to people who agree with you. Like, anyone can go, well, not anyone, but if someone makes a really high quality, high effort video, promotes it accordingly, and maintains adherence to, marching lockstep to a certain side of the political horseshoe, then yeah, you're going to be able to get people, you're going to get hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And you can go on and on about how AI is not real art, and everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, right on, AI is not art. And the reality is, you're wrong. You're making a fallacy. You're making multiple fallacies, but I'll just start taking apart the arguments against AI art. And the first one is effort. And one of the best arguments I found written about the effort equation is this one about cooking. Okay, so you could spend, hours. You could spend like multiple days marinating, preparing, doing all sorts of elaborate, high effort, difficult cooking processes. And then in the last 5 minutes, you burn it. You burn your meal. You just burn it to a crisp. You get distracted. You lose track of time. You set the temperature too high. And then in the last 10 minutes, it was fine. You put it back in the oven. You walked away. You got distracted. 10 minutes later, it's burnt to a crisp. Done. That's it. All that effort, all those days of preparation effort does not affect the final quality of the food, which is uneatable, burnt garbage. And in the same respect, like, look, I cook in them. I don't even like microwaves, first of all, but I do, live in a house with a microwave in it, and I cook with microwaves a lot. And you know what? I can make a pretty darn good tasting meal in like less than 10 minutes, less than 20 minutes with very minimal effort. And a lot of people are even better at that than me. There's professional chefs who can like whip out some food that's going to be way better tasting, better quality than anything that a casual person like me or most of these viewers, most of y'all cannot cook that good like these professional chefs do, who do it all the time. They have real skills, and they don't screw up. They don't burn the food at the end. And they use way less effort because they're practiced. They're moving efficiently. So with very low effort, they're able to create a very high quality product. And to someone who is careless or inexperienced, they could put a huge amount of effort and make a very low quality product. And so that's the metaphor. And this doesn't just apply to food. It applies to art too. You can put a whole bunch of effort, work for days, weeks, months on a painting, and it looks like crap, at the end of it. And there's also people who, maybe they're total noobs. It doesn't even have to be to a level of professionalism, but there's people who just sit down for 5 minutes with a pen or a paintbrush and slap out something beautiful, unbelievably beautiful, impossibly beautiful, that could never be replicated. A true gem of an artwork. And they do that with barely any effort. And so that's the argument against AI art, as they're saying, oh, it's low effort. Oh, you just typed out some half-baked prompt and hit enter, and then the freaking AI machine spits out something better than Van Gogh. And oh, it's not fair. Oh, you're not putting in effort. Oh, it's not human. It's not art, which is total nonsense. The human makes the prompt. And it's totally disparaging the effort required to make prompts. It just speaks to your lack of experience with the software. And so, like, when people are like, oh, using AI art, you're not developing any skills. And that's totally wrong. I spent, like this channel was founded, I've started doing AI art. AI art is what inspired me to get back into art, like, seriously. Because I realized AI art was almost perfect, but it would take someone with a very high level of skill to take an AI rendered image and fix it to make it complete and give it lucidity and context. Like, okay, you made a beautiful AI image, but the character in the image has 6 fingers and it's not a yin contrail. It's a human character and it has 6 fingers and it's not supposed to. And do you have the skills to fix that? Probably not. I don't even think that I'm there yet. But that's why I started getting back into art, like, back in 2023. And, like, seriously dedicating myself to it. Is because I realized that AI was a tool and it was never going to be as perfect without a human editor. And so not only does the human have to become very talented and practiced at making prompts, but the human also has to be very talented and practiced at editing the AI product after it's generated in order to remove any tiny errors. And oftentimes the smaller the error is, the harder it is to fix. Like, you have to have serious video editing skills, you have to have serious audio editing skills, for music or for still images. You have to have some badass Photoshop skills in order to fix those tiny errors, in order to move the AI product from 80% to 100%. And if you want to disparage that, be my guest, but you're basically a regressive person. You're wrong for doing that. It's like hating on tools. It's like people who would disparage Photoshop and digital art and say only real artists use paints and colored pencils and markers and work in clay and stuff. And anyone who uses Blender or AutoCAD or Photoshop, they're not real artists. Only real music is acoustic music. Anyone who uses an electric amplifier or a digital audio workstation is not a real musician. That's basically what anti-AI people are saying. And anyone who says it doesn't take talent and that you're not building talent by using AI is also wrong. They either haven't used it or they're just attached to some narrative that they learned that they just internalized because somebody who they agreed with said it and they thought it sounded pretty clever, and they're not even conscious of their elitism, because that is elitism. And it's also regressive because it's like justifying, like, oh, I put more effort into it. Oh, I worked really, really hard to make this subpar painting, and AI does a better job than me. And I'm going to be sour about it and say it's dehumanizing rather than just improve my skills or integrate the AI into my artistic workflow. Because, yeah, the AI painting might be better than your painting, but you could make that AI painting even better if you cared. Like, the AI is never going to be perfect. Art is inherently never perfect. You can always take someone else's art and improve it. Like, you can take the Mona Lisa or Starry Night and you can improve that. You can make it better. I believe that. I really think, people do it more often with, like, music, with remixing and stuff. But, like, fundamentally, yeah, people, you're wrong. You're wrong to say AI art is not art, and you're wrong to, hate on it. You're just somebody, you're just basically, I'm going to call you out. You're being a bully. You're just looking for something to criticize to make yourself feel better about being a crappy artist. And rather than working on improving your art, you're going to talk down on other people. Like, okay, for example, I'm not much for, like I've done a lot of stone sculpting, but it's not my favorite medium. I'm not going to go around and say stone sculptors aren't real artists because I don't like their medium. And I prefer to use pen and paper and colored pencils. And people who use oil paints and people who carve stone, they're not real artists because I don't like the tools they use and I don't like the medium they're working in. Like, that's just me being, weak. That's me being insecure. That's me being a bully. Me thinking that, my beautiful pen and colored pencil art is going to be made more beautiful by me trash talking the kind of art that I don't care for as much. Like, that's ridiculous. And that's why I don't indulge in that kind of stuff. I don't participate in bucket of crabs mentality, and that's bucket of crabs mentality. That's you lashing out because you're unsatisfied with your own life and your own art situation. And you're going to paint yourself as some kind of victim, And also, responding further to the video, you have this complex, art is always a tool of the lower masses. You say these like insanely cognitive dissonant things, like the whatever Sistine Chapel, like all these artists, Michelangelo, that was this famous picture of man and God like poking their fingers together, is like, that was elite. That was absolutely elite pandering. Just like the pop music you're listening to now. Your favorite artist is probably some elitist shill, and you're not even aware of it, or you're unwilling to accept it, Like, even so, and I'm willing to consider that possibility. Like, I'm not going to pretend like the artists I listen to aren't part of a system of music shilling. Like, they're not insiders. Like, I don't think that they're organic. Maybe some people are more likely organic artists than others, but I never take that for granted. It's just like people stuck in their alt media mentality. They think, Candace Owens or Alex Jones, like, are not part of the media infrastructure. Like, their conspiracy theories aren't spoon-fed by the same people who are spoon-feeding MSM believers. Like watching Alex Jones is any meaningful difference than watching CNN, which is not. It's all centralized control monolith from that perspective, because none of it's acknowledging off-world stage. And in the same respect, like, you want to play the bucket of crabs, you're only being an enforcer of the elite people you're pretending to criticize. You want to, and you have the nerve, you have the complete seeming lack of awareness of your own cognitive dissonance that you're going to talk out both sides of your mouth, try to play both sides. You're going to say art is for the masses, but then we have an equalizing tool that is AI that allows anyone to highly effectively create, base artwork, and you're going to hate on it because it's a time-saving tool that the masses can apply, because now you don't really have to spend 3, 4, 5, 10 years practicing art really hardcore in order to create images like AI creates, which normally that would be exclusionary. Most people don't have the time, money, and freedom to become professional artists or pseudo professionals or even hobbyist artists. And you're going to pretend like you're some advocate for the little guy while you're at the same time criticizing the tool that is empowering the small little guys, the people who don't have massive budgets and art teams. They don't have a bunch of interns and minions to do all the dirty work for them. And you're gonna act like you're the real elitist. You are the big crab. Or you're a little minion of the big crab when you go around saying AI art isn't art, AI is bad. Like, you're ridiculous. You're not fighting for the small people. You're doing the exact opposite. And anyway, I think I've made my point. Like, it's not the end all be all. I already covered that the whole point of AI art is that it's relatively useless, unrefined. It's useless without a high quality human prompter and a high quality human editor after the fact, if you really want to make top tier quality art. But AI is undeniably a time saver, and AI undeniably empowers small creative people. And so you want to keep finger painting and hate on people using paintbrushes, go ahead and keep painting on the cave walls and keep being a regressive, pastoralist, very deeply ironic, you're acting like some, conservative, even though, you paint yourself as some leftist, and it's kind of hilarious. I might have come off a bit mad about it, but really, I mean, I more laugh at how preposterous the thinking is. I mean, and it's hard for me to even believe that you're not aware of the cognitive dissonance, but I genuinely don't think that you've fully grasped how ridiculous your argument is. Anyway, I think I've thoroughly, really butchered and slapped, given a good slap around of this anti-AI argumentation. And generally anti-art. Like, it's regressive. Rather than being an early adapter to new technology, you want to be a regressive because you're emotionally attached to the old way of doing things, because you have some pastoral mindset. Like all these people who are like, this is like a Filthy Frank thing. Like, I was born in the wrong time. All the good music was in the 60s. Like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Like, the unpopular opinion, the Beatles suck. Led Zeppelin sucks. Pink Floyd sucks. These are not good artists. Modern artists are better. Is Brokey is better than Pink Floyd. Contortion is better than the Beatles. Fentanyl is better than Led Zeppelin. Deal with it. Sure, you're welcome to your own opinions, but you know what? Music is better now than it was in the past, and art is better now than it was in the past, because we have better tools and better technology and more people making it. So the better people can be found. And anyway, yeah, I've made my argument. Happy 2025. I'm looking forward, I have some Schadenfreude. I'm looking forward to these anti-AI, whiny, sad people seething more, making more videos about how AI art sucks rather than just making art, because you don't want to make art. You don't want to get practice good at your favorite medium. Fine. You like traditional art, make traditional art. I do that a whole lot. If your art form is going to be criticizing AI, all the more power to you. I'm not triggered by it. I find it amusing. I find it fun to be able to have intellectual arguments and disagreements. Like, it's valuable. This is how knowledge is gained. This is how philosophy improves. How we can broaden our worldviews by looking at things we disagree with and challenging our own beliefs and refining our arguments by studying the people who disagree with us. So thank you. Thank you so much, Leadhead. You made a beautiful video. Your channel is beautiful. You're an amazing person. I have, nothing but love and respect for you. I hope you didn't, if you ever should, or your fans should come across this video, understand that my intention is not to be a prick, but it is to open a discourse and really just to acknowledge you inspired me to make this video. Your video about the vacuum cleaner and the trash can inspired this video about the empty parking lot and the covered wagon and the helicopters and stuff. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Hope you all have a wonderful last hour or so of 2025, and have a wonderful 2026. Happy New Year. Mazel Tov. I know Hanukkah's over. I don't know what the next holiday is for different people, regardless of your religious or spiritual or intellectual or philosophical beliefs. Thank you so much for watching. We are open to new ideas. We welcome different opinions. Just understand that, you will be laughed at if you come with bad argumentation. If you come with your cognitive dissonance on your sleeve, you will be laughed at. You will be called out. If you make assertions without evidence, that will be pointed out, and we will make a joke of you. And that's just how we operate, because that's off-world stage. We're not terrorized. We're not victimized. We are able to call things for what they are. And that is a wonderful state to be in. The ataraxia is wonderful, and it's achieved through a very deliberate and informed disbelief and a very deliberate and informed epiche when used appropriately. And anyway, yeah, I have another thing about Gnosticism I want to say, but it's just going to be a teaser for the next video. So look forward to my video about Gnosticism. For now, we're just going to be advanced objectivists. You know, all props to Ayn Rand. We're going to synthesize these ideas. We're going to synthesize auto-hoaxology and the off-world stage deprogrammed perspective with objectivist reason. And we're going to keep moving forwards with this philosophical movement and these arguments. And anyone is welcome to comment or like or subscribe or whatever, you know, delete your system 32. I don't know, whatever. It's your computer, it's your internet, it's your life, it's your time. I only wish to share my thoughts to help myself and to help others. You know, I mean, I will take this quote from Alex Jones that I hear a lot, is a rising tide lifts all boats, and I have no intention to let the bucket of crabs bring me down. We're going to float up. We're going to keep floating up with our willpower and our honesty, that we can say the truth about things and call things for what they are. So with that, thank you so much. Have a good new year.